I am starting this game in Beach Bonfire at the original spawn site. I am currently in adventure mode, and for this particular video I am going to focus on finding 20 pieces of kindling for Lucy because I know she needs them. You will notice that I have put lanterns all over these woods to enable light, and one thing I quickly discovered was that in no time at all I was having migraine and feeling somewhat motion sickness, and even more so if I go fast. So I think there are a few people that do have this problem. I'm also having a very hard time actually. Oh, there's a piece of kindling. And you have to be in the exactly right spot to pick up the kindling. In previous runs, the kindling seems to be very similar to sand dollars and to the seaweed or kelp, which occurs on the boardwalk after a storm. However, the kindling is much harder to find and in much more rough, woodsy, hilly terrain. So I am going to change back to creative mode because I really don't like the headaches. For those people who do like survival, they may really enjoy this as it is intended in adventure mode. I don't have to bounce around. I can somewhat fly up, and every now and then I do need to get my bearings. I have also added in previous runs torches to some of the trees where I have previously found kindling. Another thing that is common with, there's another piece of kindling, with the other elements that do this, such as especially the sand dollars. With the sand dollars, there are only about 5 sand dollars a day that pop up on the beach. So with the sand dollars, you have to get 10 sand dollars to satisfy Aofi's need to have 10 sand dollars. You have to achieve 10 sand dollars by Tuesday, day 2, or if you fail to do that, you will need to get 30 to satisfy her demands, which change after the big storm on Wednesday. In previous runs looking for kindling, even with this cheating that I have done, I cannot do it in just within 1 day's time. Lucy will need 20 pieces of kindling, and as you can see, it took me quite a bit of time to find each individual piece. Hello there, I'm Lucy. Work as a woodcutter, arm currently healing. Would you be able to collect kindling for me? I need at least 20 pieces. So I will give her what I have now. And she will not agree to go to the beach bonfire party until she has all 20 pieces. So I'm just going to see. I do think it is possible to collect all 20 pieces. I do not know if it's possible to collect 20 on the first day. I know that I would not be able to do this in adventure. I just do not have the visual skill, and I do not have the tolerance for bumpity bumping, the bumpy ride. I do not have the tolerance to just see what's close to the ground and not get a bigger overall view. I just don't tolerate it. So for those of you that do tolerate it and are able to really truly enjoy the adventure mode, I think that is wonderful. I just can't do it. On the other hand, there are many things about this game that I do enjoy, so I am going to try to adapt it to get it to where it still works, and that I can get all the characters to the party, but that I'm not getting migraines and motion sickness from doing it, and that also I am enjoying it and not getting really severe eye strain from the process of doing this and finding this dark kindling, dry kindling. It must be dry kindling to satisfy Lucy. Dry kindling replaces the stick in the creative items category in the inventory when you're in creative. There is a wet kindling that replaces one of the dyes in the inventory under nature. And once in a while in previous runs I did find a piece of wet kindling that looks very much like the dry kindling, but is not acceptable to Lucy as dry kindling because it is not dry kindling, it is wet kindling. Let me come up a little bit higher. I like to come up higher so that I can get my bearings and see where the cabin is instead of being just lost and floundering around on the ground. I would never have total success of getting 10 people to this game, to the bonfire party in this game, without being able to work in creative mode at least some of the time. Let's see, how many pieces do I have? I only have 6 more. I do not have 20. I think I gave Lucy 5 pieces of kindling, so I need to see at least a total of 15 in this inventory. I'm going to see how many pieces of kindling is it possible to get just in this one day. I'm going to cheat even more and get some night vision. For this particular session of the game, I know right off the bat that I would have to cheat. Even to end this game, I'm going to either just not do anything until the number of nights cycle through, or just sleep in a bed until the number of nights cycle through and start over with this particular game. But right now my real purpose is to see how much time does it take just to find, and if I can find, 20 pieces of kindling. And again, I am not too sure if that is even possible to do on a single day of the game itself. I don't know if the kindling regenerates itself every day. That would be something else to test. It's also tedious because of the sluggishness and the exact positioning of actually picking up the kindling. That is another thing that makes it so slow on the hilly and step-by-step different levels of surfaces instead of having a flat surface. I also find it very hard to track where I have already explored There is probably a way to be a little bit more systematic about that, especially if you cheat. I'm going to go back to the cabin. On my way back to the cabin, I will look to see if I see any kindling. I need to be close enough to see the kindling, but high up enough to look around and figure out where am I. Okay, there's the lighthouse. And I have also implemented another cheat. I have put sea lanterns across the top of the cabin roof and also a stack of sea lanterns leading up from the roof toward the sky. The changes I have made do get retained when this game ends or it gets reset. However, the inventory gets totally removed and the characters get restored to their original positions. At the end of the game, at the intended end of the game on Sundays, the characters go back to their original starting places and one's inventory becomes empty. So due to the need to hover over and get in the exactly right spot, it is very hard to do this quickly. I am on a Lenovo ThinkPad with a headset plugged into a USB port. I do not have an Xbox, and I do not intend to ever get an Xbox. I enjoy multiplay with some of my grandchildren who do have Xboxes. So one of the nice features of Better Together is that I can get a game, put it on a purchased realm, they can join in. And another option is just on regular internet connections, we are able to have multiplay, or within a household, within the local area networks, within a household, LAN. You see how many seconds, how much time I'm losing just to pick up that piece of kindling, which would be even worse in adventure mode. So I am very much a keyboard person. The Lenovo has the tracking point device in the middle that can be used as a mouse, so sometimes I use that. Right now I am using a mouse to maneuver myself. Sometimes I use the tracking point. This is quite a tedious process. What I would suggest to the developers is that for the different levels of the game and different modes of the game, that they, for something like this, it could still be an adventure, but have a chest with some of the kindling in it, so that instead of having to go bumpity bump, bumpity bump, bumpity bump in the dark woods with eye strain and motion sickness, and very little chance of really successfully getting this, all in the time frame needed to get Lucy to the party, I would suggest that they make a chest with the kindling as part of the game, as an option in creative mode, or maybe as an option at the easy level of adventure, if it is possible to do that, to have an easy level, I can set a setting as that. So I don't think the developers intended that. But I am not going to enjoy this game as intended. I am going to enjoy this game over and over again because it is such a beautiful world and because it has such a wonderful design and programming to it, which is located underground. And I have a separate video that talks about and demonstrates the underground design. It's called Beach Bonfire Underground. So there are just so many other elements that are enjoyable to this game that I will come here again and again, enjoy it again and again. I need some more night vision. Okay, let's see if I can locate the cabin. There's the cabin. My cheat on the cabin with the light beams on top, with the sea lanterns on top, not beams, I'm sorry. Let's see, how many do I have now? 17. Maybe I do have up to 20 now. Oh, thank you. That's more than enough to last me until my arm is better. I'll bring some of this along to light Annie's bonfire at the party. So she is coming to the party. I need to be very careful, and I try to be very careful not to destroy or put anything else or break any of the grass blocks throughout this woods. The other thing I did after several attempts was to only put lanterns at a level above where kelp may appear, like 2 or 3 blocks higher than where the kindling would appear, and likewise for the torches, to be sure that the torches are not, for example, you would not want a torch here if it is possible that a kindling is programmed to appear on this grass block where the cursor is, because that torch might prevent the kindling from showing up where it should. So I hope I have not damaged any programming by some of the changes that I have done. It is possible that I have, and in that case, the adventure, if I have damaged anything, the adventure mode will not work as it's intended. I would have to create a new adventure, a new game from the template, a totally new session from the template, to restore, to be able to work with everything as the developer had intended. However, again, I think of this lovely little world as an island resort that I will share with family and my grandchildren, and we will have a wonderful time regardless of the true adventure of this game in adventure mode. Thank you.